What's up, everyone? I wanted to make a video describing my HSR account, just to kind of give you an idea of when I upload videos regarding Memory of Chaos, Apocalyptic Shadow, stuff like that. For anyone curious to know what some of those builds are for those characters, I kind of wanted to make this video, that video, to show you okay, how actually built are they? So that's kind of what this is about. And I'll also give you some of my strategy in terms of what characters I pull for, things of that nature. Because I'm not the kind of person to pull on every banner. I look for very specific characters. So first I'll kind of go over the characters I have so you can kind of see what they look like. And then we'll go over my strats as far as how I get these collections. Alright, so we're going to stop at the very top. Now, March 7th is somewhere you can get for free, the hunt version. But of course, if you do the event part of her quest, you can make her E6 basically, so she can be perfectly built. I do use March on occasion for certain content, but not as much as I used to. She used to basically be in my follow-up team with Fei Xiao and stuff like that. Not to say that I never use her, but I don't use her as often. In terms of light cone, this is what I have her on right now. Could change in the future, but this is just what I have on her. And of course, every character that I'm going to show should be fully built. That's just the way I am. If you're going to use a character, go all the way. I don't like this only focus on this or that. Don't half-ass it, just build them fully. This is what the relics look like. I guess I can kind of look at the individual substats that I'm using for some of this stuff. Not that I pay a whole lot of attention. The main stat is the only thing that I particularly worry about. All the other substats is kind of whatever I can get. Nothing too crazy. And of course, Eidolon should be maxed. Next one's going to be Hyacinth. Now she's one of my newer collections because I've recently started building HP scaling characters. I kind of like that playstyle. So this is kind of the newest thing that I've been kind of working on is HP scaling characters. I don't have all of them, but I've focused on a few. But she's a really good healer. I do have her signature light cone. Now, when it comes to light cones, I never get duplicates of light cones. Whenever I get the light cone, that's pretty much it. But I do have Hyacinth, obviously maxed out. Here are the relics she has, and we'll just show the main stats because that's to me is more important. Everything else is kind of just RNG, and I'm not going to make too much of a fuss out of it. And no Eidolons for her. One thing that I do want to make clear is that the majority of the characters I use are either E0 or E1 in terms of the SSRs. That's kind of the most that I've done. Unless I've lost the 50-50 and gotten copies, that's typically what you're going to see. Now, Robin, I pulled her one because she's actually one of my favorite waifus, because I do pull for waifus. So she's really just a waifu for the most part. However, she's also great for follow-up teams as a great support. Got her light cone as well. Obviously maxed. Here are the relics that I have on her. We'll show you some of the main stats here. And then I don't have any dupes of her, so that's pretty much it for her. But yeah, really like Robin. Definitely been one of my favorite waifus of all time. We have Fei Xiao, who honestly is just a really good follow-up character. Follow-up is my main kind of characters I like to actually pull for. That's what when I first decided that I want to pull for combat style, follow-up was actually my main thing. So Fei Xiao I have, got her signature light cone. As far as relics, this is what I'm using. Now, this isn't to show you these are the meta builds or anything. This is just kind of what I've been using based off of, me reading and making a judgment call, basically. And no Eidolons for her either. So let's go. We're going to skip this guy because I just pulled him. We got him for free. I haven't really built him, so he's going to get skipped. I've been debating building him. All right, Fugue. Now, she's also a waifu pull. I'm going to be real. However, I do use her in one break team that I have. I don't typically use a team Actually, no, let me rephrase it. I do use this team for grinding, like if I'm just leveling up a character's, like, trace materials or whatever. I use, like, my break team with her in it to do some farming for most of the content. And there are some, like, in-game stuff that I use her for as well. But break's not really my thing for the most part, but she is my waifu, one of my waifus, and I have a full waifu team that fortunately is a break team, so that's kind of why she exists on my account. I do have her signature light cone. We have relics, obviously. This is what I'm using for her. Again, these might not be the optimal ones. This is literally just what I'm using. So you can see that here. But yeah, this is mainly a waifu pull. I do have her E1, I believe. Yes, she is E1. I did pull a copy of her, I think the second time she came around. So yeah, that's her. And then we have Lingsha. Another waifu pull. However, she's good in both follow-up and break teams. So, not a whole lot to say there. We got our signature light cone. These are the sets that I'm using for her right now. But yeah, Lingsha is one of my waifus, obviously. And of course, when I say waifu, I'm talking like a well-dressed lady. I really like that. She's also an E1. So, I do have a copy of her. And then we go down some more. We have Ruan Mei, another waifu. We don't have her signature light cone right now. I believe this is just a 4-star cone that I currently have. I wasn't playing this game when she first dropped, so I missed out on her the first time. I did pull for her, I think, one time when she was rerun, but I haven't pulled for her light code yet. I don't know I think I may have tried to and just was unlucky, but I don't have her light code yet. Maybe one day. This is the relics that I'm using on her. I kind of put this set on a while back, so I don't even know if this is right or not, but it's what I've been using. And because of the whole event where they gave us like a free 5-star, I ended up pulling her instead of, was it Luocho, I think was the other one. I pulled her. So that's where that is. So I do have a copy of Runmei. So Jing Liu is kind of interesting. When I first pulled her, I just pulled her because I was new to the game and I was just wanting a new 5-star basically. But I didn't know what I was doing. I don't think I built her really well in the beginning. But, it was a cool 5-star when I was new to the game. That's all I can really say. I do have a 4-star light code. I haven't pulled her signature because I've never really went for it. Because the time that I think when I got her, she was in a rerun banner. And, I was just trying to collect, but I didn't get her light cone. I think back then I wasn't too heavy on getting signature light cones at the time. So that's why I only have this. Obviously built. These are the current relics I'm using. Now, it's different from what I had in the beginning because they've recently buffed her. So now I'm basically doing like HP set stuff for her. And I do believe she's a lot better. I haven't used her a lot, but I do use her on occasions. No eidolons for her. But yeah, she's just an early pull. That's all I can say. Not really my playstyle. Not really waifu material. Just, someone I pulled. Blade, I just got him recently. As a matter of fact, I lost the 50-50 and got Blade. But I wasn't upset because, it was a character I never had. And they buffed him. And he's a follow-up character, so I could potentially use him in the future. So obviously I don't have his signature because I don't think I was around when his banner was out. And every time they re-release him, I've just never pulled for him because at the time he just seemed too weak. Because I already had a Fei Xiao, so why was I going to pull this guy when I already had Fei Xiao, who's the same element, also follow-up, and he could just do a lot more damage. But of course, I have him fully built now, This is the set that I'm using on him at the moment. He also got a boost, so I think I'm doing a lot of HP stuff if I'm not mistaken. But I haven't tested him yet. I need to do so to decide if I want to like maybe make a video using him in one of my like in-game fights or whatever, but just haven't gotten to it. And no Eidolons. Again, I just got him. I lost the 50-50 and got him recently. And like, when I say recently, I'm talking about within the last month or month and a half, something like that. Like I really just got him recently. All right, so Casterus. Now, the only reason I pulled her, well, there were two reasons I pulled her. One, my partner kept telling me I need to pull her because she really liked her, because she has her on her account, and then she was really pushing me to get her. I was like, I don't know. But I eventually decided to do it because she also has a global passive that's kind of cool. You know, if I ever just end up losing some character, I can get him auto revived and all that. I actually rarely trigger that, to be honest. I've been fortunate enough to where I've been able to clear most content without my characters dying. But there is the occasional time in, you know, Apocalyptic Shadow where maybe one of my people gets knocked out. So that's kind of a story with her. But yeah, I mainly pulled her because I was influenced to do it. And of course, you know, she does have a cool passive. I do have her. Actually, no, this is not her signature light cone. This is the one you can get for free through uh, the universe thing. So Divergent Universe, I believe, in the Herder shop. So I think that's where that came from. Yeah, I don't have her signature because I pulled her literally last minute before like the banner ended when she was on. So I got her obviously leveled. This is the sets I'm using on her right now. Of course, I don't have any Eidolons because, again, I barely pulled her before her thing dropped. We have Cypher. Now, I did pull her on purpose because, one, she's a follow-up character, so she already follows that trend. Two, Cat Girls are kind of cool. I like Cat Girls, so why not? And three, she does work in HP scaling teams. So she has a lot to offer. Like I can fit her in a lot of different teams. She's extremely versatile. Love her a lot. I pulled her signature light cone barely, by the way. Like I was pretty much out of gems when I pulled their signature light cone. So barely got it before that banner went away. Obviously leveled. These are the sets that I'm using for her right now. And of course, no Eidolons. And I'll kind of go over what determines if they get an Eidolon or not and how I do all that. Triby. Now, one thing that I want to say about Triby before I go into any detail, for the people who've actually watched some of my in-game fights, I will tell you that every video that I've uploaded so far has only had an E0 Triby. I say that because I just got her E1 today, but I've never used her E1. So any future videos will have E1 Triby, but every video uploaded up until today has been E0. I just want to make that clear in case people are wondering, can an E0 do well? She can. Now, I have had her signature light cone for a long time, for sure. Obviously built. Here's the sets that I'm running for her. So I pulled her because I like support characters first and foremost. I honestly think they're the reasons that most teams are good in any gacha game or any RPG for that matter. But on top of that, she also works on the Casterist team. She's worked on follow-up teams. Like she's also someone that's just good in multiple teams. But yeah, as you can see here, I do have her E1, but I literally just got it today. So I wouldn't use this to account for any videos that I've made in the past. All right, let's go take a look at Jade. I pulled her one because she's one of my waifus. I like her a lot. She is a follow-up character, and honestly just does really good on a variety of teams. I got her signature as well. Here is all of her traces done. Here are the relics that I'm currently using for her. And then she is also E1. So I did get her E1 a while back, so we're good there. Let's take a look at the next character. We have Adventurine, who I will be honest, when he first dropped, I skipped him hardcore. I was like, I've got Lingsha, I've got, other characters at the time. I didn't think I really needed him. And to be perfectly honest, I found out later, this guy is actually pretty good. And he is a follow up character, even though the damage he does isn't anything significant, but he does provide very good shielding. Like, as far as like shielding, he's practically the best character in the game for that kind of archetype. I do have a signature Lycone. I believe it's a signature. Yeah, it's a signature. I got his traces. Here are the stuff I have on him. But yeah, I skipped him the first time he came out, and then the second time he came out, I believe I got him and his light cone at the same time. I want to say I might be wrong on that. No Eidolons yet. Not 100% sure if I'm gonna do Eidolons for him. I don't use them as much as I did when I first got him. Now that I have like Hyacinth and Lingsha, I just don't know if I'll ever need him. But there are going to be some in-game content where a shielder might be more necessary. So there you have it. Gonna skip her because I don't really use her. She can do follow us, but that's more based on counters, and I don't really like that stuff. So I don't really use her. This is why I'm not going to show her off. Topaz, I haven't used in a while, but I did use her for a while. So she's another follow-up character. That's basically the only reason I have her. I don't have her signature though. I think I've skipped her before too, to be honest. I wasn't sure if I wanted her or not. I eventually decided I did, so I only got the character, not the Lycone. But I have used her, I think, in a few videos. I'm not too sure. I hope I did. I don't even remember anymore. Here are the relics I have on her. Like I said, she's mainly a really good follow-up character. Um, so that's kind of why I use her. I mean, it's pretty simple. Don't think I have Eidolons, no, because I've never really fully dedicated for pulling under hardcore too often. So yeah, I just have her and that's it. Himiko, she's a basic 5 star, so she's not a premium character, but I do want to talk about her a little bit because one, she's a waifu, so I wanted her anyway. Two, I just think that she's a decent follow-up character, but could also be good on break teams as well. I don't use her in a lot of content. I mainly use her for pure fiction, and that's pretty much it, because she can do AoE stuff. I do have her signature light cone, but I haven't had it for very long. I think I got this light cone maybe 2 months ago or less. So this is kind of new. Of course, she's maxed out for traces. Relics, here's what I'm using for her at the moment. I think I pulled Himiko when I had, you know how if you do so many basic pulls, you can get a free basic 5 star? I think I got her that way, if I'm not mistaken. But again, waifu and follow up, that's basically all you need to know. Oh, she's E2. Okay, she's probably E2 because I've lost to 50-50 a couple of times. However, I don't mind losing to 50-50 to get her. Because again, she's a waifu and she does follow up, so I'm not completely upset about that. This is just your basic standard, like, main character. But yeah, this is like the main character of the game, and not someone you necessarily would pull for. I have used them in some content, so I guess I can go over my build, but It's nothing really special for the main character. This is a light cone that I currently have on him. Not even sure if it's the right one. He's fully built. Here are the relics. I used him in my casters team until I got Cypher, but this was the build. I do use them on occasion if I want to just like, use mem to increase someone's turn meter while also giving true damage as well to that character that I'm boosting. So he could be good for support as well. And obviously E6 because of like, event stuff. And honestly, the only other 5-star that I actually use regularly is going to be Fushuan. I actually liked her, like in the very beginning, I really liked her ability to kind of keep the team alive. She can kind of heal herself. She was kind of a good tank that can do some damage. This is the Lycon I have on her now. I don't have her signature. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've ever tried pulling for her except the one time she was on a banner. But I do have her on that whole thing where you can get her if you lose a 50-50 kind of a thing. So we'll see if that works out for me. Here's what her builds are right now. And I don't think, I do have an Eidolon. Okay, maybe I did lose a 50-50 recently and got her. I completely forgot. So apparently I do have an E1, but I want to say that this E1's probably recent. Because I know I didn't hardcore ever pull for her that much. So I'm thinking this is a 50-50 loss. And I'm okay with it because I like her. Again, she's someone I pulled early game for a support more than anything else. I don't really use her much anymore. I might find an excuse to use her sometime in the future, but just not someone I ever use anymore. And that's basically everyone that I currently use. There are some 4-stars on here that I used to use that I don't use anymore. But those are all the main characters that I use. I do plan on building her up a little bit more. She's just not fully built yet. But I do want to get her better because she can be good too for support. And even though this lady is the very first 5-star I ever pulled in this game, I just like my other supports better. But I should build her because, I guess there can be teams where she's good in. I just haven't really I just haven't cared enough to pull her. But yeah, that's basically how I do my pulls. Or I'm sorry, this is how my account is built right now. So any older video that you've seen, now you'll be able to know, is this E0, E1? Do I have their signature? Stuff like that. I've heard that people like knowing those details, so I figured why not show you guys. Now, as far as gotcha pulls, I'll kind of briefly go over what I typically do. So what I'll normally do if a character comes out that I like, well, first and foremost, here is what I pull for. Follow-up, guaranteed, or it's going to be like an HP scaler, but not all HP scalers. It just kind of depends. I might be done on HP scalers for now, but there are like a few that I wanted to pull. But the main thing that I pull for is follow-up. That's the thing I will pull for guaranteed, and sometimes an HP scaler, and also sometimes a good support. And then after that, I pull for waifus. If it's a well-dressed lady, I'll try to pull for her, even if I don't really use her. That's kind of how I do it. Now, when a character comes out that I want to pull for, I typically will try to pull the character first, just one character. I don't go for duplicates. And then once I get the character, I'll try to get their Lycone. And then I usually stop. Now, if the character gets re-ran, then the first thing I'll do is I'll pull for the Lycone if I didn't get it the first time. But if I already got the Lycone, then I'll try to get a copy of the character itself. So I'll make an E0 and E1 on the second time that they're run. And that's kind of how I've been doing it. So that's how some of the E1s that I have come to pass. It's usually them being ran multiple times where I get at least, a character, a copy, and then a Lycone. And that's basically how I roll. Now, in the future, Like, let's say if I have a character I really, really like and they're already E1, I may just E2 them. I don't see myself ever getting a duplicate of a light cone, but I may get extra duplicates of a character if I really like them. That's pretty much it. So that's kind of how I do my polls. And as far as like am I like free to play stuff like that, I'm not free to play. I'm a budget spender. Typically, I'll do the battle pass, and then I'll also do that thing where you get gems every day. That's really the main way that I pull. Now I have spent extra before. Like if I get a bonus, I might throw like $30 and in a way to give me some extra gems for when I need it. But for the most part, I'm just doing like battle pass and stuff like that. That's basically it. But yeah, but that's basically my account in a nutshell for the time being. Just kind of wanted to show you guys, for those interested in my builds when I do my Apocalyptic Shadow and MOC videos. At least now you know what they've looked like for the the longest time. And that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching, everyone.